Nuggets
So
real
let's
quick.
preview Suns Nuggets. Look, as a Nuggets fan, I have a weird type of feeling going into this Suns series because look, Devin Booker continues to get better and better. We had a discussion about how good he really was. Let me tell you something. He's the best player in the Western Conference right now, and he's played so well that in the closing minutes of games, they don't even need to involve Kevin Durant in the actions. He
Yeah,
is
let
literally the
Bradley
number
Beal
2
do
currently
this.
on this Suns team. And if you are going to scoff at that, I'm going to ask you, what Clippers series have you been watching? Because Devin Booker has gotten to a point where I don't know if there's a hole in his game. And there's a lot of shooting
There
guards in the
isn't.
league that can light up from mid-range, but his
Yeah.
drive game, his playmaking, and defense, which we saw in game 1, lockdown, have all taken another step forward. I think we're getting to a point in Book where, man, he's a top 12, top 10 player,
Let me
and there's
talk
not
to you.
much dispute in
He's
that.
popping.
Let me talk
He's
to you.
popping his shit right now.
Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you.
Yes.
Let me talk to you.
He's doing it in the playoffs.
What have you not been watching the Clippers series? What are you, loco? Wait, have you been watching the Clippers series? I'm sorry.
I
Does that
know where
Clippers
he's
team
going
have
with
Kawhi and
this.
Paul George on their court? Or no? We're just gonna act
No.
like they're fully healthy and ready to go, right?
Right.
Like, okay, that's great. Does he
Okay.
not have a 7-foot monster standing next to him?
Well, he's actually staying in the corner and
It doesn't
not
matter.
involved in the actions.
Semantics. My
Well,
point
in the
stands.
Yeah,
actual
I'm not
game,
going.
I just
I'm not
KD's
going to
not
lie.
involved, it feels like right now.
Brandon,
How
I'm not
can
going. Brandon, I'm not going to lie. They're not even using KD, right? KD sometimes standing a half court
Because-
watching D-Book.
That's what I'm saying. You're not understanding. The mere presence of KD on the court makes Devin Booker a better player. It's
Well, he's
with
getting
any
double
great
teamed
player
last game.
playing with any great player,
Brandon.
especially KD, because KD fits so perfectly with basically any team. You just plug him in. He's like one of the most plug-in superstars you could find because his game just fits with anybody.
Right.
The mere presence makes Devin Booker a better player. How are you got what? I don't.
I'm going to make a film breakdown and show you the kind of the clips I'm talking about where, look, they'll be just fronting KD in the post 9 with like Terrence Mann, and then they're double teaming Devin Booker on ball screens, and he's making the right play like 9 times out of 10. He's getting downhill, blowing. He's breezing. I mean, the finishing from him too has been phenomenal. The up and unders, the touch, his acceleration. There's just a fluidity to his game when he's on. And I feel like for Denver right now, this is the ultimate test. If the Nuggets win the series, they're going to the finals. I think because they get the Warriors in the next round, so we'll see. But the reality, though, is there's then a worse matchup for the Nuggets than D-Book and also KD. But there's a flip side to this. When these two teams played in 2021, the Nuggets starting lineup was Facu Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and Michael Porter Jr. Will Barton wasn't healthy in that series either, and Michael Porter Jr. was not really playing well in his first playoff setting. Aaron Gordon, meanwhile, was also not. So you look at Jamal Murray coming in with KCP and Bruce Brown off the bench, and I think this is far and away the best type of Nugget team the Suns will have to face. They have a little bit more depth, they have a lot more continuity, and to me, they have the higher ceiling raiser offensively. That being said, I'm expecting this to go all the way to 6 or 7 for the number one reason being Jokic defensively has been really bad. Really, really. Offensively, he's been phenomenal. Absolutely out of this world. He was playing amazing versus Rudy Gobert, who's probably the best matchup for him. I think Gobert is a better matchup than Ayton. But defensively, Nikola Jokic is not trying to protect the rim shot blocking, but he's also kind of taking on this mentality of, I'm not a shot blocker. So let me just run in front of you and kind of stay in the way and pretend I'm going to take a charge, but really not. And I think against this Phoenix team, they're too skilled offensively with their duo to just have Jokic totally let them breeze by him one-on-one. That's going to really be the deciding factor. Can Jokic and this Denver defense just defend at an adequate level? Because their offense is going to keep on coming. Or against this Phoenix offense, with that duo, just the duo specifically, if they get enough support by DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul, can they be better offensively in this matchup around 2?
I think that's one of the scariest things about this Phoenix Sun team is we haven't seen the best version of Kevin Durant yet, which is exactly why I'm saying the Phoenix Suns are going to win this series in 6. I think the Denver Nuggets, and they showed you in the second half of the season that they are a vulnerable team. They can be beaten. There's no team in the West that is, what miles better than the other. So I'm going to run with the Suns here. I won't even expand too much. I just really believe in the Slim Reaper. I think Kevin Durant, at his best, is a top 3, maybe top 2 player in basketball and probably the most unguardable person in the league. So I'm going to roll with the Suns easily. Devin Booker is rolling. I think CP is going to find himself too. He has some good scoring games too in the first round against the Clips. Granted, no PG, no Kawhi either. But I think the Suns run away with this. I think they're the best team in the West.
I got Nuggets in 7, and it's simply because DeAndre Ayton is going to get destroyed down there, and Jokic is going to have a party. You don't have the bodies to throw at Jamal Murray offensively, and vice versa. You may have Aaron Gordon and KCP to throw at Devin Booker, but that's not going to do really much because they're nowhere. They're good defenders, but they're nowhere near the position to really keep him down for too long, even if they are. And it's just schematically the way the Suns are doing it is going to be hard for the Nuggets to cover because they don't. It's not technically drop coverage, but it also is. Jokic runs a certain level of drop coverage where he plays up a little bit higher because his hands are so quick, because he has really quick hands. And the defender behind him slides so much to cover him on the back door. He's not going to be a rim protector, but he plays a certain level of drop coverage that he's trying to keep you. He's trying to force the long mid-range jumper. The problem with this Phoenix team is that you're going to get midi to death the entire game. They're shooting 50% on mid-range. They're shooting 50% on mid-range shots for a freaking reason. So schematically, that's always going to kill a lot of teams. They're going against math, and they're doing it in ways teams don't want to play defense. They don't want to have to always play up on screens and go under screens on Devin Booker, or go over them and force Jokic to come up a little bit higher. They don't want to do that. And another problem is when you go in that pick and roll, especially with KD in the corner, what are you going to do if Devin Booker is going downhill on Nikola Jokic and you have either Damon Lee, Landry Shamet, Chris Paul?
KD. No, Monty Williams doesn't like playing his best shooter, so he plays Landry Shamet, who does nothing. So it'll be Landry on the floor.
Okay, so what happens when you have a shooter in the left corner, Kevin Durant in the right corner? Now, let's say you help on that Devin Booker drive. You're now allowing either Chris Paul, who's obviously cooked, but he still can produce, or KD playing against a 4-on-3 or playing against a closeout. Like, it's just a recipe for disaster for both teams. Neither teams have the personnel to guard each other, really. But it's really going to depend on which one blinks first, really. And this is going to be a testament. This is going to be a real testament to really show either maybe what we think about KD after leaving Golden State may be true. Is Devin Booker really like that, or is Jokic really what we think he is? Is Jamal Murray back, and the Nuggets offense what it is really going to tell a story of which offense can dominate the other, because defensively they don't have the bodies or the scheme to really stop either one of each other.
That's true. Yeah, I expect this honestly to go 7. I agree. I think these two teams both lack the bench depth and power there. Denver's, you'd probably give the slight edge to, but it's not saying much. Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Denver Nuggets to guard the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker and KD especially. Jokic better dominate Ayton from basically everybody, shitting on Ayton, saying he's soft as cotton now. He's not this guy, he's not that guy. So I expect a MVP to dominate. In terms of who do I have winning this series? Listen, the Suns are so top heavy. It kind of reminds me of the quote LeBron gave, I think in 2016 or 2017, I forgot which year it was, where he basically said, we're top heavy as you know what. That's what the Suns kind of remind me of. They have the top 10 end talent, but they lack the depth. And it just, for me, it's so hard to see you playing a KD, a Devin Booker 40-plus minutes a night.
In the first round.
Yeah, at Chris Paul playing, I don't know how much he's playing, 33, 35 probably, maybe even more in some cases. DeAndre Ayton playing 35-plus minutes, and you know how big men can get in foul trouble real quick.
Or get hurt real bad sometimes playing that many
minutes. It's so hard for me to see this team getting overworked basically, but by necessity, because they don't have the talent to take KD and Devin Booker out for a little bit and be like, all right, let's get a break, and now we can come in. So, yeah, and the coaching match is going to be interesting because Mike Malone has had his shortcomings. Monty Williams has definitely had his shortcomings. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for right. Oh, God, man.
Pick Denver.
I'm gonna go Denver and 7 for right now, but it could easily flip.
Same here.
Damn, I'm alone again.
What do you
You're
have?
also picking them at 6.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if you're right either. It's just the entire. It's just right now. It just fully depends on how. It just fully depends on either what Ayton can actually do to slow down Nikola Jokic, if anything at all, and how the Nuggets are going to find a way to defend those Devin Booker pick and rolls. Because if Devin Booker's running pick and roll, Kevin Durant's attacking 3-on-2. DeAndre Ayton is getting easy shots in the paint because you have to rotate constantly, and he's just getting dunks because of the people on the court. But
he hasn't dunked the basketball though.
Yeah, but the problem is like Monty Williams hasn't found a real way to stagger Devin Booker and Kevin Durant's minutes. Every single time one of them is not on the court with each other, the defense hones in on one of them, and it makes it harder for everybody else because nobody else on the court can produce like Torrey Craig, Josh Okogie, Damon Lee, Landry Shamet, any one of those guys. They have not been playing well in that path. There's a reason why the Clippers come back constantly. Is because whenever you take one of them off the floor, the other one is getting constantly hounded, and your offense doesn't flow the same way anymore. And I'm sure Denver's looking at that and realizing, like, hey, either we're tiring these boys out, or if they try to stagger these minutes to get some rest, we're every single time one of them is off the lineup, we are attacking full force every single step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Jay, right?
I see. So with this series, like you guys said, it's not like neither one of them have much of an answer for them on the defensive end. They can't guard KD. You can't guard Booker. You can't guard Jokic. Jamal Murray will show his face too. But in all honesty, I think when it comes to crunch time, I think all these games will be coming down to crunch time. I think KD and Devin Booker are going to shine, and I ultimately don't think the Nuggets will. Like I said, I think that second half Nuggets team might show up. I like the Suns, and I wouldn't be surprised if the series goes.
That's understandable.
It's close, but ends a lot sooner than people think.
Just thought of
going to tell you something, Justin. The best team in clutch time this year. You know who it was?
Was it the Denver?
Wasn't it us?
It was not at the Miami Heat. I'm trying to
filter out the
playoffs.
Were we top 5?
Give me the playoffs right now. Okay. I'm trying to confirm.
You got
the best team in clutch time was, the 76ers won, the Miami Heat 2, and the Denver Nuggets 3. The Nuggets had the best clutch defense, which was a stat I found very impressive.
And you know what I say to that stat, John? I don't care, because you know what, you guys, everybody told me that the Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 1 rated team, they were going to dominate on the defensive end against the Knicks, and that didn't happen.
They did technically.
Not technically they did it. They're just lucky the Knicks didn't make shots. But Brandon has said it multiple times. It's a different breed of basketball when you get into the playoffs. And quite frankly, we've seen the Nuggets also let us down over and over and over again. So I wouldn't be surprised if that shows up again.
And Justin, that's why I had the Nuggets. Actually, the more I think about this Nuggets-Suns series, the more comfortable I get in Denver winning. This is coming from a Denver fan, but there's 3 reasons why. Number 1, kind of like that Cavalier-Knicks series. Look, the Suns have 0 depth and no continuity. Monty Williams still doesn't know who he wants to trot out there. But with Denver, they have their bench figured out. The lineup is Jamal Murray, KCP, or Bruce Brown, and then you have Christian Brown, Jeff Green, and Aaron Gordon. That lineup won the non-Jokic minutes against Minnesota. But there's another element of it too. The Suns are a terrible rebounding team. Nikola Jokic just had 9 of those boys in Game 5 versus Towns and Gobert. He's an elite offensive rebounder. So the Nuggets, even when they're missing shots, are going to get a lot of second chance opportunities. The Suns aren't. But the third element for Phoenix is Devin Booker playing out of his mind right now? Hell yeah. Does he scare the shit out of me? Hell yeah. Does Kevin Durant? Oh, he scares me too. But when we look at the other guys, the only other shooter the Suns have is Torrey Craig. Do I think Torrey Craig's going to shoot 55% from 3 again? Hell no. You look at the rest of those shooters. Chris Paul is 3 of 6 in games 5 and 6, but in game 3, he shot 1 of 8 from 3, and they're leaving him wide open. If the if the Nuggets are leaving CP wide open and he's not killing them on those spot up looks, now all of a sudden you can double team Kevin Durant and Devin Booker more so, who is the initiator. And if that's the case, and the guys around them aren't making shots, well, then that Denver defense will be adequate. If that
This
defense
series
can
is
hold
all
up,
about the others.
that offense is going to keep on coming. And I think this, much like that Cavs-Knicks series, is going to highlight continuity matters. Offensive rebounding definitely matters. And you know what I also think matters? Pace. And the Suns just don't have the depth to have pace when KD and Devin Booker are playing 45 minutes. And the closing minutes, Justin, those two guys' legs are going to be dead after a certain point when they're playing that much. And what do they rely on? That mid-range shot making.